Before discussing the aims of English language teaching at primary, secondary and higher secondary level, let us discuss about what are aims and objectives in general. What is the meaning of aims in education and what is the meaning of objectives in education? Then we shall go into detail about the aims and objectives in reference to English language teaching. What are actually the aims of education? We know the meaning aim, so I won't discuss that. But in reference to education, so the aims of education in reference to education are not achieved through the study of a single subject or two subjects or within a day or within a month. So it simply means aims of education can only be achieved after long time of journey of teaching learning process. So how is the long journey? We can call it a lifelong journey. So aims of education have longer period of its achievement. It may not even be achieved because it cannot even be measured. As we know, education is a lifelong process and it includes the entire spectrum of subjects, means variety of subjects. From primary to higher education, we come across plenty of subjects and each subject contribute one or the other way to our overall personality, to any one aspect of education. So aims of education are related to this. The study of all the subjects contribute to the achievement of aims of education, not a single subject maybe, or not a small chapter, but overall subject or many subjects in total contribute to the aims of education. So aims of education are really big, larger concept. Then smaller concept within aims of education is objective, and then smaller concept within objective is specific objectives. So we shall compare this, what is objective and what is aims of education here. What is the objective of education? We know Benjamin S. Bloom has already given categories of education. He has given 3 domains, that is cognitive domain, affective domain and psychomotor domain. And educational objectives are related to those domains. They are the desired goal or outcome, means the byproduct, the original product after the process at which the instruction is aimed. Instruction is here nothing but teaching learning process or teaching, in other words. So educational objectives are the desired goal, means desire here means our wish, our hope that after this instruction there will be some change in the student. So objectives means they have a purpose for very short time, and aims have the purpose for longer time, right? So that is the basic difference between aims and objective. We very well know aims and objectives are also often used interchangeably, means they are almost used like synonyms. But when we are talking about technical terms in reference to education, aims are bigger, achieved after long time, maybe after 12 years of study, maybe after 20 years of education. maybe after lifelong process of education from formal to informal. So aims are such and objectives are very specific, precise. Right? That is the word used here. They are precise. What is to be changed in the behavior of the students? It is clearly mentioned. I will give you some examples. Before that, let us understand the basic difference between aims and objectives. Aims form the basic elements in educational planning. Means, when do you form aims? When there is educational policy is being formed. When they are uh, formed at the level of educational planning, and objectives are formed at curriculum construction, means the curriculum. When the syllabus is framed and curriculum is designed, objectives are designed. So both are different level. Aims are very general in character. They are not precise at all. You cannot understand by reading an aim, that what exactly a teacher has to do to achieve this. You may not understand this. For example, I give you an example of aim. For example, in reference to science subject, to develop scientific attitude in the student. Now, this is the aim of introducing science as a subject. But we cannot be sure that there will be scientific attitude in the student within 1 day, within 2 days, within 5 days of lecture. But if we think of 12 years of science education, we may think that students may develop scientific attitude. But this aim is not specific to develop scientific attitude in students. It's just general in character, general in expression. But when it is converted into objectives, it will focus on what content, particular content to be used. For example, you will be thinking about developing curiosity. So what content to use to develop curiosity, to develop rationality in thinking, to logical thinking, to critical understanding, to open-mindedness. Now these are the characteristics and the parts of scientific attitude. To objectivity, to being honest, to believing or to not believing everything without proof, without empirical evidence, the habit of questioning everything, right? So these are parts of objectives. Now they make more clear that what teacher has to develop in students. And then at the curriculum level, smaller chapters are given, and these chapters are become the medium of developing this attitude. Aims are, as I told you, very broad in nature, and when you read aims, they look abstract. They do not look concrete. You cannot just believe those aims, but they still exist. But objectives are very limited and clear cut. When you read them, you clearly know what is to be taught, how is to be taught, and what should be achieved after teaching. I give you an example of aims which are abstract in nature. We don't know exactly how to do. You know the meaning of the word abstract. I give you some example. For example, to make the students productive member of society. Now, this is such an abstract idea. How to make them productive member of society? It is overall personality development, overall the responsibilities, their duties, everything is there. To make individual to be capable of his livelihood, I mean we are talking about his economical condition, his employability. To make the students civilized and cultured. Now see how abstract this aim of education is. To make child civilized and cultured. Now this is such an abstract aim. It can never be achieved by one chapter. Can you achieve? Can you make a student civilized by just a simple subject or by just 6 months study. No, to build up character of the student. Now this is amazing. Overall personality development to build the character of the students. This is such an abstract aim of education. But objectives are always clear cut. We will discuss objectives of English. So you will know how clear cut they are. Aims are long-term goals, means many years maybe. Objectives are short-term goals, means semesters or yearly exams or even specific objectives are there. They can be achieved in a single period. Aims are really difficult to specify what exact time limits it will take. We don't know how much time it will take to develop somebody's character. We cannot be confirmed. But objectives can be achieved within specified time limit. These are the chapters. These are the chapters to be completed within this and that period of time. Aims express, as I told you, general purpose of education. This is the general purpose. It doesn't focus on particular subject, but objectives generally focus on specific subject, specific level, that is lower primary, primary, secondary, higher education. We have that topic. What are the objectives at primary level? What are the objectives at secondary level? And what are the objectives at higher secondary level? So we have that in our syllabus. How good objectives should be? It has already been discussed in the lecture. Objectives should be based on psychological principles. We know that there are many psychologists who have developed principles for teaching learning related to education. For example, classical conditioning. There are many more. There are Paulo, Skinner, there is constructivism. So there are many such psychological principles, and it should be based on that. The individual difference among the students, the mental level of students, that is what we should keep in mind before writing objectives. They should be according to the content of teaching. Because when you think of objectives, you should also think of the content. They should fulfill the needs and interests of the students. You think we should think about those objectives which are really of interesting and students need at that age. We think of small students of lower age, students of higher age, higher education have different interest, different need. So their objectives should also be different. They should be according to the age and mental level of the students. That is the perfect thing. You cannot expect higher order thinking skills at lower primary students because their intellectual ability is not yet developed. So you should think of the mental level of the students, then you frame the objectives. Otherwise, you will never be able to achieve that. That's what we discussed, that English language textbook is so difficult above the level of the mental level of the students. So teacher find it very difficult to achieve the objectives. They should be helpful in changing the behavior of the student. That is the basic meaning of learning. What is learning? Change of behavior of student. So objectives are also nothing but changing behavior of the students. So objectives should reflect how a behavior of student will change. He knows, he doesn't know, then after a period he will know that. So that is the concept. Now we shall focus on aims of teaching of English in India. Means now we will focus on English. What are the aims of teaching English in India and what are the objectives at different levels? The aim of teaching in India is simply to help students to acquire practical command of English. Now what is practical command of English? Simple. There are 4 skills of English. Students should have practical command on the 4 skills, not only theoretical command, passive command, but active command. Simple. Students should be able to understand what is spoken. understands what is spoken means listening skill. Students should be able to speak English, that is speaking skill. Students should be able to read English, that is reading skill. And students should be able to write in English, that is writing skill. These are the four skills and these are the four objectives that is given. So, let me discuss these four aims. We cannot call these objectives, but we will call it aim of teaching English. Because we cannot make students speak fluently in just 1 or 5 periods or 6 months, right? So it is an aim that can be achieved after a long time, means after a level of education. So these are the four things that I told you. To understand spoken English means listening, to speak English, to understand written English, that is reading, and to write English, that is writing. Now these are aims, as I told you. These are the four main aims of teaching English in India. But if we think of these aims, then if you ask me about what should be the objectives, because objectives are always according to the aims. Mind well. Objectives are according to the aims. Now what is our aim? To understand, to make the students understand spoken English, means they should be able to listen English. So what should be the objectives? Objectives should be related to developing their listening skill. To speak English means the content and activities and assignment, practices and all the teaching learning work should focus on how to develop speaking ability of the student. Now these are the general four aims. Cultural aim. Now the cultural aim of teaching English is to enable the students to know about all the cultural groups of the world through English. Now that is the first aim of teaching. Second one, as I told you, literary aim. Literary aim of teaching English is to open the treasure of rich English literature for Indians. Poetry, drama, prose, fiction, etc. Now, what is utilitarian aim being used? Utilitarian aim of teaching English is to open the gate of opportunities in different fields of life through education. Then linguistic aim, the linguistic aim of teaching English is to enable the learners to understand the system of English words, English sounds, English sentences. That is what we most of the time focus. And then integrative aim, this is amazing. Integrative aim of English teaching is to inculcate, develop the integrative quality of English language. English. So these are the aims, and then we shall also focus on objectives. Now, how should we express objectives in reference to these four aims? First aim of English, to make the students develop the skill of listening. So what are the objectives to develop the skill of listening? What a teacher should do? What is included in the skill of listening? Let me share it with you. It is very interesting. The teacher should teach the students to recognize English speech sounds, to differentiate between the speech sounds. You know, when we listen to Bollywood movies, we are unable to differentiate sounds because we have weak listening skill. To distinguish between English speech sounds and your mother tongue sounds. To understand the vocabulary and sentence patterns used when people speak, because there are sentence patterns. To find the meaning through the stress, pitch and intonation, because listening is also related to intonation. You should understand the intonation. To understand English speech sounds at normal speed in the conversation or in the movies. So that is listening skill. So teachers can focus on these aspects, objectives, and he can develop the content. Second aim is to enable them speak English. So what is there? What a teacher is expected to do in speaking area? Produce English speech sounds separately and quickly, fluently. Distinguish between English speech sounds and mother tongue speech sounds. Recall appropriate words, sentences, and phrases readily and quickly. Now, what happens when we try to speak English? We readily can't recall the words because our speaking ability is not developed. We can't recall. We can recall Gujarati words, but we can't recall English words. To speak sentences with correct speed, we cannot speak sentences like the foreigners with that speed. To use pause with correct pronunciation, with correct intonation, to select and organize one's ideas on a subject, to express them correctly. Now, we have the ideas. If we don't know English, it doesn't mean we don't have ideas. We have the ideas, but we are unable to express those ideas in English. Now, expressing is nothing but speaking. Read a passage aloud. When you read aloud something, it is also related to speaking. Third aim is understand written English. What could be the executives of reading? To sound out and syllabify words means to exactly pronounce each and every syllable. Take in all phrases and sense groups at once without inwardly pronouncing words. Now that is silent reading. There is also loud reading, but there is also silent reading. Read a passage with moderate speed. Now, what happens if you have good reading ability in English? You can read with moderate speed. But those who have weak reading ability, they will read English very slowly. Gather meaning from the unknown words, because unknown words will be there while reading. From context, from pictures, from diagrams, because you not only reading the paragraphs, you might be reading pictures, you might be reading diagrams. Understand the meaning communicated by any paragraph. Recognize the relationship between ideas, because when you are reading a book, when you are reading a novel, you must establish relationships between the ideas, between the passages. So that is related to reading. Fourth one is to write English. Now to write English is also fourth aim. And what could be done to achieve that? What should be taught? To write legibly. Legibly means it should be legible. You should be able to read. Your English writing must be good enough that anyone should be able to read that properly. Spell words correctly, using capital and punctuation marks correctly. Recall and use appropriate words while writing, because writing is not that easy. Great writers can have proper words at proper time. We can't have. Identify and correctly correct the wrong sentences while you are writing. Do not commit grammatical mistakes. That's what it want to say. Present the matter logically. Avoid unnecessary repetitions. Stick to the point while writing. Effective presentation, effective conclusion even. Using a dictionary, reference books and other resource materials for writing purpose. So that is aims of English teaching, 4 aims, and what I discussed were the objectives. It can imply this. Now let us move to objectives of ELT at different levels, and that's what we have discussed: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. 4 aspects, that is. Listening is related to semantics, understanding of the meaning. Speaking is related to phonetics, that is sound, spelling, pronunciation. Means if you want to develop speaking skill, you should teach sound, spelling, and pronunciation. And then reading skill, it is related to phonetic as well as graphic. Graphic means reading is what? We are reading the graphics of the language. And last one is writing skill. We are creating graphics. Now we shall move, as I told you, to the objectives of teaching English. This is two aspect of objective. One aspect is language aspect and second is literature aspect. We generally focus in Gujarat because we are teaching English as second language. We generally focus on language aspect. But in higher education, if you follow BA with English or MA with English, we will focus, the universities focus on literature aspect because language aspect is already dealt with in the school education. So when we think about primary level of education, what should be the objective of teaching at primary education? I want to reframe the same thing. Why should we teach English at primary level? For what purpose? First, to familiarize pupils with the spoken and written form of English. Means just to familiarize. They just know this is how English words can be spoken, and this is how A, B, C, D alphabet is written. This is how a spelling can be written. So simply, at primary level of education, students just need to know how English is spoken and how exactly alphabet is there. What is the written form of language? So all of you remember your primary level of education. This is what you have been taught. Second, to make learning an enjoyable activity. Enjoyable activity means teaching of English at primary level should not be a burden for student. It should be enjoyable activity. So it should be full of songs, games, language games. Mother tongue help can also be taken to enable the learners understand the language spoken by the teacher and the classmates. Now, slowly they will make students and friends in the classroom to start understanding what is being spoken, right? They are just starting to understand the language because they are first time listening the language. So that is what we need to enable them. To enable the learners to speak English words and short sentences. Look at the word English words and short sentences. Now what happens at primary level, we cannot expect students to speak long sentences. First, they can speak small words, then letters with more alphabets, more letters, bigger words. Short sentences, we should begin with short sentences, right? And I used to, when I was in primary schools, we very well know that we start with I am Vipul, I am Rahul, I am a teacher. Then we move to that this is Radha, that is a tree. So this is how from short sentences we slowly should move towards the difficult sentence in the upper classes. Primary level, to enable learners read and understand simple words, that is simple reading, right? To make them read and to make them understand. Understand here simply means listen. To simple words, mind well, at primary level, complex words should not be used, complex sentences should not be introduced, complex passages, bigger passages, no, short passages. You see, the essays at primary level are very short, simple, very short sentences. Right? This is my school. I love my school. There are 5 classrooms. I have 5 friends. So this is what it goes to enable the learners to write words, phrases, and sentences and paragraphs. Now we should also tell them to write the words slowly, to phrases, to sentences, to enable them to learn how to recite poem, how to recite a rhymes, how to sing a poem, how to understand the poem. This is primary level. Then learn the basics of English language. Now this is very important. Primary level basics and foundation must be very good because it will be useful in future education. So what do we mean by basics? The basics of grammar, basics of structure, right? Basics of writing, basics of listening. Use the basic structure of English sentences. How to use basic structures. Right? There are many structures, but there are some basic structures of English which the students must be used to master in the primary level. Learn the core vocabulary. Now the word is core vocabulary. Means at primary level, students should at least learn these 1000 words. That is the core vocabulary. Right? Basic vocabulary of English. 800 to 1000 words, which is the basic vocabulary. If you know that, you can easily communicate. Express themselves orally using simple English. Now, slowly at primary level, we expect our students to simple introduction, simple sentences, simple description of picture, description of their friends, families, festivals. Read and understand simple written materials. That is reading, right? They should start reading small paragraphs, small stories, simple stories. What about at the secondary level? Secondary level, English should be a bit ahead compared to primary level. To develop the knowledge and understanding of grammar. Now, basics of grammar is taught at primary level. Now they should develop the understanding of grammar. To develop ability to make use of grammar in their own writing, right? Now they are applying the knowledge of grammar in their own writing. To understand the meaning of English passage, now they are themselves reading English passage and they can easily find out the meaning of the English passage. To develop the interest in reading English, now slowly at secondary level, students should develop the love towards English, reading new books, new stories, slowly towards literature. We do not focus much at that. We are thinking about these objectives are also related to second language, but also related to first language teaching. To develop self-study habit, now uh, they should not be fully dependent on teachers. Now they should start self-study about English learning to enhance competencies in writing essays and gist of the passage in own words, means the theme of passage, theme of a story. They should now start writing essay on themselves because they know the structures, the basics of grammar. Now they can write essay, they can start expression to develop their insight and favorable attitude toward English. Now the curriculum should be such that the attitude toward English should be more positive, more favorable. To develop the understanding about the rules of grammar, that is already discussed, not only the rule of grammar but its use in practical English writing as well, right? Last but not the least is higher secondary level. We are going a step ahead in English teaching. Motivate students for more study English language. Now a bit detailed study. This is very interesting to encourage for composing poems and essay. Now composing poem means start writing your own poems, your own articles, your own essays to develop the ability for grasping the theme of poem. Now teacher was used to explain the theme of poem, each and every line. Now at higher secondary level, they should be able to understand the theme and grasp the theme of English passage or poem or whatever the content it is, because they can interconnect the ideas expressed in the poem. They can easily know this because their intellectual ability, their imagination power, their memory power, their logical ability, their even grasping power is also developed. They have vocabulary is also developed. Fourth is to encourage the students for writing the meaning or theme of poem, that is what discussed in their own words. Now see, this is very important, in their own words. Now if you ask, now the ability to write in your own English at higher secondary level, when a question is asked, you should not answer the question by cramming each and every sentence. You should be quite fluent in writing and speaking as well. To develop the ability of appreciation of ideas and criticizing the thinking. Now it is going a bit higher domain of language learning. Criticizing or thinking about language, criticizing somebody's ideas in English. That is quite amazing, right? 6, to develop the creativity of the students related to verbal ability. Now they should be able to verbal reasoning, fluency, and in not only in being fluent, but creatively expressing your ideas. That is amazing. In written form, in spoken form, whatever it is. To develop the ability of understanding the other school subjects as well, not only English. To develop the mastery of language for expressing their ideas, feelings, and experiences. Now, at primary level, students had ideas, feelings, but they cannot express in English because they do not have enough structure, enough vocabulary, enough development in the mental abilities. Now, at this level, they should develop the mastery of language. Now, we can see that up to 12th, we have English, and up to 12th, almost all the grammatical topics are covered. So if you study perfectly throughout your primary to secondary to higher secondary education, you definitely will have mastery of language as far as grammar and expressing ideas are concerned. If you have perfectly gone through it. To develop the ability of evaluation, to analysis of language components. Now this is very interesting. This is now concentrating on detailed study of language. It is not only focusing on just grammar, on phonetics, on morphology. Morphology means how different words are formed from words, formation of words. Syntax. Syntax means the meaning, structure. Then we have semantics, that is related to meaning, and syntax is related to structure. So these are the language components. And at higher level or higher secondary level, these language components should come out. And we should develop that. That is why we have English. Last but not the least, to develop the values, moral and character of the students through English education as well. Because English is also basically a language teaching. So that's all up from me about aims and objectives of teaching at higher secondary level and primary level of education. Look, aims are always formed at the educational planning level, policy level. Their objectives are a bit related to the subjects and it can be achieved at shorter period of time. Means objectives can be achieved at primary level, secondary level, higher secondary level. That's why they can also be called objectives. Okay. Thank you.